Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here with 60 and Me. Thanks for being here today. Hope you're doing okay wherever you are in this world. I'm having a really nice morning today. It's bright and sunny and I'm feeling like it's summer, so I've got my summer earrings. I've actually just started to get into earrings. It's funny, I actually did collect them for a long time and I put them away and, I focused myself really on necklaces. And now I've decided, sometimes it's nice not to have anything on your neck and just to sort of wear a pretty earring. This one actually was kind of curious. I bought these and they had those like tassels on them and I didn't like the tassels so much, so I cut them off. But, you can always make your own thing. I love adapting jewelry and making my own styles. But anyway, hope that you're doing great. I've got my cup of tea this morning. I'm drinking Stash. It's pomegranate and raspberry. It's a fruity tea. It's a summer drink. So I hope that you've got something nice to drink: tea, coffee, juice, whatever you love. Just you may be in the evening having a glass of wine, so that's okay too. But I do hope that you're doing great, and I really appreciate you being here. Now, one thing that a lot of people ask us about are, after retirement, is that what do you do with yourself? What do you do? And a lot of people find it hard. That they're so used to being in a routine that they just don't know quite how to make the adjustment. But one thing that a lot of people consider is volunteering. Now, when you think about volunteering or about any kind of sort of activity like that, you think about what is the quality of life that you're looking for in retirement. Now, a lot of people love to travel and make that kind of a line in the sand. When I retire, I'm going to go and do that cruise or that walk across the pilgrimage walk, or I'm going to do a trip to Paris. And they sort of have these things in their mind that give their quality of life that kind of boost when they've done so much all their lives. Now it's time. But one thing that researchers have looked at is what is really necessary for you to be content and satisfied in your life as you get a little older. And they basically came up with four different things that I think everybody will agree with this. I think this is pretty straightforward, and which may be served by volunteering or some other social involvement activity. And so that's, first of all, having something to do. And this is probably one of the very first things when you look at people in those blue area countries that live to be over 100 consistently, as a culture, is that they all have something to do. They have a role. They have something in their lives, a purpose. They have relationships. They have family, friends, people, grandchildren, children who they make part of their lives. And I know that we've talked about this before. It's not always easy. People have their own lives. They do things. They leave the area. They move away. They maybe even don't want to be with you anymore. It's really hard. But having relationships is like the number two thing that develops or that establishes a happy, contented lifestyle in retirement. The next thing is having a stake in the future. Doing something that somehow takes your legacy forward, that makes your life worthwhile. There was a point. There was something that you could do to actually, say that you accomplished and that it was good. It was something that you tried. It didn't have to be magical or, some kind of world champion at anything, as, triathlon runner or, sort of a famous person, celebrity. It's just really doing something that will go forward into the future. In many ways, when I do the 60 and Me program, I feel like these videos are going to be here for a long time to help a lot of women. When I'm 80, 90 years old, there'll be 50, 60-year-olds that are watching it and thinking, wow, that's useful. That's really useful. And so that's the third thing. And the final thing is having a sense of continuity. And I think that's the other related thing to having something to do, is knowing that you plant the seeds and they're going to grow, that there's some sense of ongoing relevance to your life. And I think that these are the four things that they've identified as being great for your well-being in your 60s and 70s and 80s and beyond. But volunteering is one thing that's always raised as a possibility that it gets all three. Four things. It ticks all the boxes. It makes you feel have something to do. It gives you relationships. It gives you a stake in the future. of the people that you're helping and the continuity of knowing that it's making a difference. So I think that there's lots of options, and there's lots of websites now that you can go to find an opportunity, matching opportunity, but you don't have to even go very far. Most communities have got church groups or community groups where you can do something. You can be of help in a hospital or a hospice. And there's training programs if you don't particularly have the skill. They're there to help you. Government bodies, there's nonprofits of all kinds, and they're not actually all in this country. You can go abroad. You can do volunteering in other parts of the world. And I think that maybe some of you did Peace Corps or some of those other volunteer opportunities when you were younger. I would really like to know, did anybody do that? Was anybody who's watching and in our community, did they get involved and participate in Peace Corps or something like the Peace Corps? I just haven't asked that question before. But the other thing that comes from all of this is that there's a science to this. There's a neuroscience behind altruism, or that sort of giver's high that people talk about, which is really, really true. It's your brain actually feels good when you help someone else. When you act altruistically, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be helping someone get something off the shelf at the grocery store, or something you're helping a mom with their little child that's, having difficulty with something, or whatever. It could be just something as simple as that. When you volunteer your time, it doesn't have to be a structured thing. That makes your brain feel good. It makes you feel like you get this reward rush. And it's actually, I don't know whether it's serotonin, it's something, dopamine, it's something that you can measure. This actually goes into the brain when you act altruistically. Now, a lot of boomers, women in their 60s and 70s, 80s, are actually doing this already. We are a big percentage of people who are in the volunteer world and who want to remain active mentally and physically. We want to just do stuff that's going to make us feel good, and it benefits us. Not just the brain feels good, your body feels good. And for example, I spend quite a bit of time with my little grandson. I have the privilege of being so close. I didn't have that with my first grandson, which is, now we have to make up for it with other things. But this is so lovely to have a young person, a little guy in my life, because they are so full of energy. And, they give you ideas, they're creative. They really are little out-of-the-box thinkers, these kids, and not just 2-year-olds. All children are. But anyway, you can fulfill your own goals through volunteering too. Say that there is something that you want to learn how to do. You want to learn how to be a hospice worker, consultant, or advisor, or helper. You can go and take training, and it gives you a skill. Or you may want to do something that's like knitting for little kids in preemie wards at the hospital, or helping with people abroad who don't have clothing, or gathering things that volunteer groups need, doing book sales or cooking, baking sales. You can learn new things yourself. You can actually do things to enhance your own abilities. It's really cool. So you can plan for volunteering by in lots of different ways. You can give away millions of dollars if you're Bill Gates or someone like that. And these people are doing amazing things for charity. You can volunteer your time, not just financially, but he and his wife Melinda travel all over the world, in helping non-profit groups to get going with different initiatives that are mostly related, in his case, to healthcare. But there's a woman that was mentioned in our article that you can read, that there's a woman called Andrea Putting who puts together meetings every month and invites people from different religions. And she just invites them to come to her house. And I think she calls them Chocolate and Coffee Day for Religious Harmony. It just gets people together, has coffee and chocolate, and just talks about what's on people's minds, and tries to get religious beliefs to a place where people can see what unites them rather than what separates them. It's pretty powerful. I think it's wonderful. And, in a way, I guess 60andMe is my volunteer activity, because we don't charge a membership fee here. We do this really honestly because I think it's important. And I do get the high back from you, all of you guys. I know you do your very best to make me feel wanted and appreciated, and it makes a huge difference. Many of you are helping out with our Patreon community, Patreon, Patreon. It's a small group of women off the Facebook radar that we can actually talk, and we talk privately and personally, and it's so much fun. Honestly, it's growing now into something precious to me. I love it, and it's a small version of 60andMe, but we're related. It's all 60andMe. So anyway, that's kind of what's important. I picked up this card somewhere from our deck of Aging Beautifully cards, which I think most of you know about now. I remind you now and again, because this is one thing that we do sell, and it's something we believe in. And that is this one here, which is Seek Out Your Sisters. Every card has a little paragraph on the back to kind of give you some inspiration. And, I think it's important that we look at things like, the bond between sisters. It's powerful. That's what this card is all about. And it says that the bond between sisters is important, and we are here to help each other on this journey. And volunteering with other women who are who need help in areas that you perhaps have skills. It's all part of that volunteering mentality. So I hope that's giving you some ideas. I hope it's giving you some inspiration, and that you can now take that with you into the world and seek out your sisters, seek out people who are like-minded, and just enjoy this fabulous time in our lives. So I'm going to finish my cup of tea and hope that you have a wonderful day wherever you are. Leave your comments in the section below as to where you might have volunteered since you retired. Where have you volunteered? Leave those comments in the section below, and let's have a chat. And if you want to chat about it in a little bit more private way, come on over to Patreon. You're always welcome there. So have a wonderful day, everybody. I know that you are loved, truly, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.